feeds the whatever people are looking at back into our contact, into command. Whereas Zillow's, it's going to those Zillow's people over in the corner.
Okay. So what Frank's saying there is, let's think about, we all have a consumer, right, or a buyer that we've been talking to, and they tell us, hey, they're 6 months out from buying a house, right? Well, if that client goes on to Zillow or Realtor.com over the weekend and really starts looking at a ton of houses, do you guys have any knowledge that that's happening?
Absolutely not.
Usually not, right? If they are on your command website, so if they are on Frank Vincent's website or on the KW app linked to Frank Vincent, every property that they're looking at is being recorded in their contact profile. So on a Monday morning, I can come into work and I can sort my database by who was last visiting one of my consumer products and get a list of all of my clients that were on the app or on one of those products over the course of the weekend. Right. And if I know that Frank Vincent hasn't been looking at homes for a while, and then all of a sudden over the weekend, he's looked at 25 homes and saved 10 of them. Well, who do you think magically is going to get a phone call from me on Monday morning, just checking in to see if he has any questions about real estate? Does that make sense? Right. So we're going to be using the technology to help us now, the agent. Now, what's the biggest, how do you do that? Right. What's the tough part about making that transition of getting someone off of Zillow over into your products? What's the challenge there?
Get them to use your app rather than the Zillow app, because we're not as well known as Zillow.
Okay. What's Zillow? Is it a good app? Do you guys
Yes.
on here go on and look at Zillow every once in a while?
Yes.
Sure. Right. It's a good consumer product. So the challenge is going to be is if one of your consumers has been using that for 10 years, how do we get them to move over to your products? So I'm going to hit that question and then we're going to jump into how-tos, right? And get these things set up. So if I came to one of you or if I was a client of one of yours and you said, hey, check out my mobile app. And I said, hey, I appreciate it. I'm just going to keep using Zillow. I kind of like that product. What are some of those objection handlers, right? What are some of the benefits of the consumer products other than we know information that you can tell your buyers and sellers?
I think our app's a little more accurate in that it works in conjunction with neighbor next door.
Okay. So the social media, the neighborhood from next door is being pumped in. That's a big one. So if you guys know that, they've got hundreds of thousands of neighborhoods in the United States mapped out. So that the benefit we have is if I go into the app, I can see properties on a neighborhood level, not just on a zip code level or something along those lines. Okay. Who else besides Frank? Who else has been in there and checked it out and has got some other features that are beneficial?
As well as it's connected directly to the MLS, so the information is current, whereas Zillow could be dated at times and inaccurate.
Yep. Let's expand on that too. Does Zillow only have property information about the area in which you work, right? Your MLS, or do they have property information about everywhere in the country?
No, they don't.
Well, so Zillow, if I go on there, I can look for homes in California and Florida, right? And so if all of you, just like myself, have ever gone on vacation somewhere and you go, oh, I want to buy a vacation home here, right? You go to those websites to look for property. The big disadvantage that most of us real estate agents have had is that we had to have an IDX agreement for our websites, meaning that the only properties that were going to be on KyleHolleran.com are only the properties that are in Bright MLS or in CVR MLS, right? That's a huge disadvantage because if your client goes look for homes in Hilton Head and can't find any, they're going to go back to Zillow. They're going to go somewhere else. So our KW products, the ones that I'm going to show you right now how to start building, has a national IDX. So every property from everywhere in the country is filtering into that product. So it kind of puts you on the same playing field when it comes to that housing data and people can look up. So Tara, good point on that for sure. That's a big one. All right, let's jump in, okay? Now, raise of hands. I've only got a few cameras on. The rest of you guys are hiding from me, which is fine. Who has set up, let me ask it this way. Who has not set up their website? Who is here brand new going, I need to set up my agent website and starting right from the beginning? Okay, Sherry, so I see you. Anybody else that's on, that's not showing faces, want to jump in? Vibs, is that your name? I got to see it on your name tag there. Is that?
So I set up, but I'm not sure, which one's supposed to be used because I used to, about 5 years ago, I used the Keller Williams webs, app, I think this is the same one updated or?
Yeah, same one updated. So let's go ahead and go through. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start on the website side. And then I'm going to jump over to the mobile app about halfway through. So we're going to spend half the time on one and half the time on the other. We're going to start in Command. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Now, I trust that everyone on this call has access to Command, right? You have your username, you have your password. If you're brand new, you may be waiting on that. I will post this call on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch this and slow it down if you need to. So, you know, watch, take notes, but don't panic. I'll post this so you can go back and watch, okay? So when we get into Command, about 99% of the time we're going to spend today is going to be in the consumer applet down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Before we do that, though, we need to make sure that your marketing profile has been completed. So if you haven't done that yet, that's your first piece of homework. Now, to see if you've done that or to go back and look at it, you're going to go to your name in the top right-hand corner, click that, and come down to Settings. Okay, so Name, Settings. When this loads up, over here on the left-hand side, you see where it says Connect Settings. You click that, you're going to see Marketing Profile. Now, this marketing profile is what feeds all of the consumer products. And so if you don't have a picture in here, if you don't have your information in your biography, on your website and on the mobile app, those things won't show. And it's going to be a bad look on the consumer side. None of us like to go look at something and it says like picture coming soon or like a question mark because you haven't uploaded a photo. So go in here, this is your homework first, complete this marketing profile. When you go to build your website, it's going to ask you for all this information. If you put it in here, it'll auto feed into that setup process. So you don't have to retype it all twice. Okay, let's stop there. Any questions about the marketing profile? All good. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do now. What we're about to go do is, if you're brand new and you want to set up your website, this is the process of creating the website. Okay, that's what we're going to go do now. Bottom left-hand corner here, it says consumer. We're going to click on that screen. All right. Now, important thing up here just to notice, when we're in consumer, we have 3 tabs. We have landing pages, agent site pages, and guide builder. All right, so we're actually going to talk about these 2 today. Landing pages are a standalone website, right? Maybe a property website for 123 Main Street. I've done that class before. Today, we're going to focus on your agent site, and then the guide, it has to do with the app. We'll come back to that. So agent site pages, I'm going to click on that right there. Now, if you've set up your website before, even if you think you didn't, because these have been live now for over 1.5 years, you're going to see a URL right there in the middle of the screen. It says kyleh.kw.com. So that's the name of my website. All right, so Vibs, I think you'd asked that question about, I'm trying to make sure I'm using the right one. This is the KW, the new KW website. This is the one that is connected to Command. So if you had an old one, we can talk about that one-on-one and I can help you. But we want to work over to this one here because this is the same one as the mobile app as well. All right. Those that are just coming in, Polly, I see you just came in. All we did, 2 clicks in. We're in Command. We clicked on consumer and agent sites. That's where we are right now.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
Are you going to go over how to change this, change the name of the website?
Yes. So if you have a website and it's already named and you want to edit that, you can. And then I think Sherry said she hadn't started it yet, so she may not see a name there. Come to the far right here, configure your site. So all of us can click on this. If you've already set up your site, this is a way to go in and edit it. Okay, it's one way to go in and edit some of the details. You can change pictures somewhere else. So if you just need to go in and make a quick change to photos, you don't need to go into this configure your site. But if you want to go in and change some of the details on the website, or you're going to set it up for the first time, we're going to click on configure your site. Everyone should be clicking, I want to use the new KW agent site. I don't think anyone on here still uses their old Playster website. If you do, I'm going to challenge you. You should not be paying for this. It's a very inferior product. So use KW agent sites and click submit. And that's going to open up this Kelly guide here. And this is going to walk you through these 4 different steps. And as you walk through these 4 steps, at the end of it, your website will be ready to go live. Okay, so it's kind of like a step through, walk by, step kind of process here. So right there, I can follow it. I'll click on Get Started. I'll acknowledge and continue that they want to make sure that all of compliance is by state, right? It's not a national compliance reminder. So they're just saying, based on your state requirements, make sure you have all of the compliance on there that you need. So we'll hit acknowledge and continue. And it takes us into now this 4-step process. All right, let me go ahead and stop there. Everyone feel comfortable getting to this Kelly guide. That's what it's called. It's called a Kelly guide. Right, so consumer, configure your site, and then we went through a couple of those prompts, and now we're here. All right. So number 1, it says choose your subdomain and configure your profile. So Frank, I've already selected kyleh.kw.com, and I've already confirmed that that's my domain. This is where you can type in a different domain. So, or Sherry, in your case, this is where you can type in the first time what your domain is going to be. So I could say I want mine to be kyleholleran.kw.com. And once I type that in, I can try to claim that domain. Now, if another agent is using that URL already, so if I say Nova Real Estate, right, .kw.com, so if you wanted to use something like that that wasn't your name, I could claim that. There's a chance that someone else has already claimed that. Does that make sense, Frank? So that's where you can make the change on your website name yourself or pick it the first time.
Kyle, do you think it's better to keep your name?
Nope, it's not. It's completely business to business.
Something like Central Fairfax, Virginia, which I have. I own that domain.
Sure. Yeah, it really depends. Some people like to be personal. Some people like to take their name out of it so that, you know, it becomes more of a business than a personal business. But that's agent to agent choice, Frank. All right, so once I hit confirm domain, it says, congrats, you claimed your subdomain. So obviously I hit confirm on the one that I already had, so that was good there. Be careful, guys, here. There's a drop down, so marketing profile information, it's kind of hidden. If you click on it, it'll drop down, and then you need to fill out all of this information. This is all coming in from that marketing profile. So I actually didn't have to fill in any of this. That's why I said do that one first. If I go here and type it all in, it doesn't feed back over to the marketing profile. So I just doubled my work. There are, though, a few things in here that don't come in from the marketing profile. One of them being your team or business name. The reason I want to point this out is, let me pull up my website so you guys can see what mine looks like. It's a very templated website, so ours is all going to look fairly similar to each other. But a question that I get a lot is, right up top here, it says Holleran Real Estate, and this is the drop down. So people ask, how do I change the name of the drop down? Okay, that is the team or business name. So if I wanted to make a change on my website and I wanted this to say, like, click here to learn more, I'd have to change it here. But be careful, because it shows up here, Holleran Real Estate, and it shows up down here underneath your picture. So don't like put see more, because if you do, then it's going to say see more down here underneath of your name. Does that make sense, everybody? That's a very common question, is how do we change that drop down? Okay, biography, all of that has filled in. And then down at the bottom here, you're going to see your imagery sections. Now, a few tips on this. Your profile picture should be that. Okay, do not upload your profile picture as your team header logo or the Market Center logo, because then it'll be up top here and it looks goofy. Right, so put in your profile picture, should automatically come in from the marketing profile. The Market Center logo is this one up here on the left. Okay, so what I've done is actually I've used just the regular KW one. You can use the KW Fairfax Gateway, KW Loudoun Gateway if you want to. Compliance-wise, it is at the bottom of the screen, so I don't have to have that. So you decide, right? What logo do you want up top there? That's your Market Center logo. And then finally, we have a team logo, right? So I've got just an image in here just for showing purposes of a little B. And then my team logo shows up there. And then also on the site, it shows up within this little bubble on your picture. So my advice is, if you don't have a team logo, don't upload anything here, right? Because if you upload something, this bubble appears and you can't get rid of it. All right, so just keep that in mind. If you don't have a team logo, just put in your header logo and you can save and move forward from there. Social media, right? And then I hit save and continue down there at the bottom. So that's kind of your step one. Any questions on that? All right, pretty easy. Save and continue. Move on to step number 2. The first time you set this up, You have the option here of going in. So I have, mine says fast free national real estate search. So when someone comes on, right? I don't know why this isn't saving actually. Looks like that's not saving, but we should be able to edit this bar over top of the search bar. So by default, it says find your dream home. This was working, but I don't see it working right now. We should be able to edit that script over top of the search bar. And then the last thing is you have the ability to have up to 5 photos on your website, right? You will have 5 generic ones in here already from KW. I suggest you change them, right? And make them local so that your website looks more local than just very generic. So you have to delete a picture first. Once you delete a photo, you can then upload a new photo in. And again, you have a maximum of 5 photos. Now let's stop there. Let's talk about some imaging rules. Where can you go get these photos from?
Website called Pixabay.
Okay, there's a few different royalty-free photo websites. And if you just type that into Google, royalty-free photos, you can find some websites. Frank mentioned one there. It's called Pixabay, PIXABAY.com, and they're royalty-free photos. Do not go to Google Images and type in Fairfax and right-click Save As an Image and put it on your website. All right? They absolutely are now doing the reverse prospecting of who's using images. We've had a lot of our agents receive cease and desist letters and even opportunities to sue them for using imagery without permission. So don't go to Google any longer and just use pictures, okay? The other option that I've shared with people is a lot of people in your sphere might be amateur photographers and you don't even know it, or dads or of a friend is an amateur photographer. It's a perfect opportunity to make a Facebook post and say, hey, everybody, I'm working on building out my new website and looking for some great local photography. If you know anyone who would let me use that, I'd be happy to give them credit on the picture or something along those lines, right? So it gets a nice little real estate touch out. And then again, maybe I get some great photos to use on my website that no one else has because they're not on Pixabay or something else, right? So since I've shown agents that website, I've seen a bunch of agents now use this Metro picture because that's a picture on Pixabay. So, figure out what those pictures are. Now, I'm also going to show you an easier way that once you set up your website, how you can quickly change these photos out. So, I don't want to leave cherry blossoms in the spring on my website, right? Because that makes it look like to a consumer, hey, is this guy's website updated, right? So I want to be able to maybe quickly go in there and change that photo to be, DC in the wintertime. And then it makes me look like I'm more present. My website is continually being updated. So, all right, so that's step number 2. Any questions on step number 2?
Yes, I have one.
Yes, Paul.
When I like that idea of looking for a local photographer that can take photos for us, and when we give them the kudos, is there a way to do that on the picture? Let's say this picture here is that one. Do we have to bring it in Canva and put the name?
Yeah, you nailed it. That's probably what I would do, Polly, is okay. I would, before I upload the picture in, right, I would take that original image and lay a watermark or upload it into Canva and put some text over top of it, say photo credit of Polly J. Jack. Visit her work at www.pollyjjack.com, okay. Local Fairfax photographer. And then you upload that photo in here and we would see it then right at the very top or maybe in the bottom right corner of that photo.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep, good question. All right, now I'm going to go to the next step here, save and continue. If I'm going to confuse you, this is where it's going to happen. So if you've been zoning out on me, just come back in for just a second. When we go to step 3, what's basically happening here is inside of your website, you can see my drop down here. I've got several different pages, okay? Everyone starts with 3 pages, which is your company profile, your about me, and your contact us page. And so what you're doing is whichever is in bold, so in this case, company profile, I'm going to go down to search engine optimization and content and create and fill in what needs to be filled in for that page, which is company profile. Then when I click continue here, right, it's going to highlight about me and I need to follow those steps again and fill out my about me page. So we're basically going to do step 3 times. Okay, so we're going to fill out company profile, about me, and contact us. The company profile is the one you actually have to put information into for the content. The contact me and the about us pages are already basically set up for you, pulling in your email and the form for someone to submit a question. So you just need to go through that and confirm. And that's it. Okay, that's the entire setup process of your website. So pick your name, pick your photos, and then complete these 3 pages so you look accurate when you go on the market. You can also skip these if you want to, and there's a way to delete out the pages. So if you said, hey, I don't really want any pages here, I just want the website to be set up, you can skip those steps, right? And I'll show you how you can delete those pages. So you wouldn't have anything here, which I don't think is helpful, but you do have that option as well.
Hey, Cal, this
Yes.
is Cynthia. Can you go back to where you go to the customize your site and you said navigation, and then you do company profile, and where do you go to update that?
Okay, so let's say we're going to do company profile is the first one, right? I would click on this drop down here for search engine optimization, and I would call this, about Hollering Homes. So you have the name of the page, okay? Then I'll come down and do content, and this is where you're actually filling in like the headline, title, and the description here. Right? Picture. Now, just so you guys know, this template here for this company profile, is talking about maybe, what's important to you or what your mission statement is. I actually changed mine. So mine actually, instead of saying company profile, I wrote buying and selling, right? So it doesn't need to be a company profile. I can change this page. Then down here, I did headline 1. I did buying a home, right? So you guys see what I'm doing here. I'm just filling in this content, right? Buying a home. And I wrote a description about, working with me to buy a house. And then number 2 was selling a home. Then once I complete that content, I click continue. It looks like you're in the same spot again, right? But if you go to navigation, now about me is highlighted. Same thing. Search engine optimization, content, and then finally contact us. And then that's it, right? And then save.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. That's it. Okay, so once you do that final step there, you hit next. It brings you back out, and you can just click the X button, and you're finished up with that Kelly guide, and it brings us back in here. So if you didn't have a URL before under agent site pages, or you changed your URL, you should now see that here in the middle of your page. Okay.
Are you going to go through adding pages?
I will touch on it, Frank. We're not going to spend a lot of time there. I'm going to go over the mobile app next.
Okay.
So one quick question. So I had already built my site, but I want to go back and do that company profile and about me and all that.
Yep.
So when I do that, do I just click on the agent site right here?
So here's the deal.
In the middle?
Once you set it up, Holly, you're going to see. So if you complete that, it'll say about us, contact me. These are additional pages that I've created. Okay. Once you create your website and it's already live, you actually are going to go to designs to edit any of your pages.
Okay.
Okay. So if you go to designs, you'll notice up top here, there is a button that says agent site. And if I click on that agent site, these are all of my pages. And if I want to edit one of them, contact us, like Polly, like you just asked about, click on it here. And this is where you'll go to actually edit that page again moving forward. So that configure your site button is really the initial setup. You can go back in there, but you don't need to again now moving forward.
Okay.
Good question. Now, let me touch this real fast. I'm in consumer, right? We're in this agent site page is where we've been, where I can see my URL. Anytime I'm in consumer, we see site and app settings right up top here. This is the kind of quick way you can change things on your website. So instead of going into that configure your site, if I go to site and app settings here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs, okay? Now the first thing is, once you complete that guide, that setup guide, make sure that this is toggled on. Use my information to brand my agent site. If this is not toggled on, if I go to kyleh.kw.com, the website I just set up, it doesn't show any of the information I just did. Okay, once I toggle this on, then all of that setup stuff I just did and all that information will populate into the page. Okay, now on this general tab here, this is where you can change out your photos now moving forward, right? So if you wanted to kind of come back seasonality quickly and upload a different photo here, that's where you can do this. The order in which the photos show up here is the order in which they will be seen when someone goes to your site. So if they click in for the first time and we do kylh.kw.com, I was already there, right? It's going to be the Chesapeake Bay will be the first thing that they see. So this order of the photos will be the photo on the website as someone lands on it. Okay. This is big and this is new, and a lot of people are missing this right now. You will see on my website, this was not part of the original launch of these websites. If I scroll down here, one of the things a lot of agents have been asking for was the ability to put in featured listings on their website. Okay. So if I go back to command in order to get featured listings on your website. Now on this, just keep in mind, these don't need to be your listings, right? They can be any listing from any company because it does give the IDX credit that is needed. Now, if it's on your website though, the only person a consumer can ever talk to is you, right? They can't get to the listing agent on your website. So it's the opposite of Zillow. They're very protected. We've got them in a moat. So what you're going to do is, going back to commands, we're still in site and app settings here. Featured listings is another tab in here. If I go to featured listings, this is where I have the ability to go in and select listings, right? Those selected listings will appear on my website. You can have up to 12 listings on your website, and you can only select active properties. Okay, right? So coming soons aren't syndicated by the MLSs. So we can't select that, not because KW doesn't want you to, it's because our MLS has changed the rules on how those things can be syndicated out. But if I take a new listing, I could say to my client, hey, Polly, I can guarantee you that your home will be featured on the front page of my website until it sells, right? Because you would be able to, once it goes active, go in, click on select listing and either type in the property address or the MLS number. And you'd be able to find your listing, hit select on it, right? And then add it to your webpage. Quick tip on this, everybody. It says show only my listings by default. You always need to change this to all listings, right? The numbers are messed up. So if you're trying to search for your listing under this here, it's not going to show. Go to all listings and then type in your address. I've actually found the MLS ID number is the easiest way to find them. So what I did was I went to the MLS, I searched like a farm area that I work and I live in, and I found some MLS IDs of properties that I thought were beautiful and I would like to feature on my website. I took that list, came to my screen here, typed in the MLS numbers, and was able to select those different listings. Okay, so that's how you add featured listings. Same thing, top to bottom is how they'll show up on the website. So you want to make sure your listings are at the top. If you add in a new listing, you can click on this little waffle to the left and you can move that listing up so that you make sure that it is one of the ones that's featured when someone first lands on the site. All right, and then they have the ability to click to the left. You go down and see the other properties that you have. Now, as these sell, they fall off, okay? Or they get this tag that says not for sale. So make sure that you go back into command. This is something that you're going to want to go in and look at, right? And keep your featured listings up to date. So it's not going to be automatic. You need to go in here and look at this list every couple weeks and make sure you've got enough listings up there. Questions on featured listings? How
many do you suggest we should have on there?
All right, so for me, more than 4, because if one falls off, Polly, I don't want it to look awkward, right? This is like a template to have 4 properties basically. Okay. So if there was only 2, this would be blank. So my advice would be 6 or more. So if a couple properties sell and you don't realize it, that you kind of keep a nice consistent look here, you know, maybe 8 or 10 is probably the perfect number. If they just keep going and going, they probably just think this is forever and ever. But maybe 2 clicks and then you can go from there. And then realize if I click on any of these properties, it'll then open the web page, you know, on that property with all of the pictures, right? And we're going to get into the consumer side. So this is what the consumer sees on your website, right? This is what it looks like. They can see all your photos of the property. They can ask you a question. They can schedule a tour, right? So good question, Polly, right?
And then we're the ones who have to go in there and change them. And how often do you do that?
I added these 3 weeks ago, and I'm down to 9, I think, right? Or how many have I left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. So I added 12, right? And that was like 2 weeks ago, and I'm down to 8. So I would want to get back in here and update it a little bit, because if a few more sell and come off the market, then I'm starting to get down to that under 4 number, which is where I don't want to go.
It's about every 3 weeks or so.
Depends on the market. It might be slower right now. Probably if you're in the
Right.
springtime and you pick 12, it might be every other day.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, good. All right, so that's that featured listings right there. Everybody good on that? All right, so on the website, let's just look at this real fast, and then we're going to go over to the mobile app. I want to spend some time there. So this is your website. This is newly added for anybody. If anyone's been looking for this, I had a few questions regarding this for a while, which was before it was really hard to find rentals. So now you have 2 tabs, almost like Zillow, where if someone's looking for a rental, they can click on that and they can then look for a zip code, and it'll show them rental listings that are coming in from the MLS. Okay. So that's an option there. So here's all your rentals Bright MLS is feeding in. Okay, these little blue tags. All right. I'm gonna go back to for sale. So this search here, you can see it says by city, neighborhood, address, school district, zip. Guys, you need to go play on your own website. You need to go spend some time. You need to go play on the mobile app and learn some of the features so that you can express to your clients the reason that they could be using this product. So when I type in 22033, right, it brings me into this general area here. I can go in and I can actually type in the address or the zip code, and I can select the zip code, right? If I select the zip code itself, it's going to give me a map of the actual zip code, right? So there's your blue lines that show you your zip code and then all of the properties that feed into it, okay? Now, as I zoom in, you're going to see some different things here. What do you guys think this little green icon next to the price would stand for, that little green calendar?
It's for
Open house.
sale.
So for sale is all of them.
Open house.
Oh,
Open house,
okay.
right? So if you have a client that wants to see open houses, instead of you having to go look those up all the time, this is being syndicated from the Bright MLS. So if I wanted to go over here and look at this property that has the little green symbol and click on it, it's telling me that there's an open house scheduled for Saturday at 12 p.m. Right, so that's a great little tool that like Zillow doesn't do a good job of, that I think we do better of, which is looking at that open house. Right now, as I click on the property, I can actually click on it and open up a property details page. This is the one we were just looking at a minute ago. So I can look at all the different pictures and all those things. Now, notice it hasn't made me log in yet. Right, and that's on purpose. I can go to Zillow and search for property all day long. So if we gave the consumer only 3 clicks and then they have to register, they would just leave your website and go somewhere else. So they can surf around and look around without having to register. Now on this, a few things. The description comes in from the MLS. They've got a map. They've got some walkability scores here. Nearby school rankings are being filtered in. It's showing you updated open houses. So Saturday and Sunday this coming weekend, this is being held open. You have a mortgage calculator, and you even have some nearby homes. All right, so some other ones that might fit your criteria there. Now, if the consumer wants to ask you a question, it's asking them to create an account and basically register, right? So if I have a question about this, now, if someone wrote me a question, I get an alert on command in the notifications bell saying, Frank Vincent has just asked you a question about 123 Main Street, right? So if that question comes through, that's how I'm gonna see it. If I try to save this property, it's trying to get me to create an account, right? Any of those things. Once they create an account and they're logged in, now we start tracking and we can see what they're doing. That makes sense? So I don't know who's on my website right now, just surfing around, but I have a login. So if I logged in, or if your client logs in, okay? If your client logs in, you're going to start to see that I can now see saved properties, right? Because I've saved properties in my account. So now they have the ability to save properties just like they would in Zillow or any of those other things. I can say save this property, and instead of bouncing up and saying create an account, it's asking me, okay, which collection do you want to put it into? So let's put this one into Alexandria and click save, right? So there's additional features that come with creating an account. And the advantage that we have is now that I'm logged in, and I'll show you this when we go back over to command, everything I'm doing here. I can even search by school district. I can say Alexandria, right? Alexandria Public Schools. And I can click on that and it'll do a search and pull up a map of Alexandria schools, the whole region, not down to the school, right? But there it is. And now I can look at all of the homes that fall within Alexandria School District, right?
And that is if you have an account. You can only do that
So
if
you can
have an account.
search by anything, but I have the ability now where I can now create my own custom searches. Okay, Polly. So
Okay.
maybe I don't want to live in the entire Alexandria area. I want to live in Delray. So I actually have the ability to come in here and draw a circle as a consumer, right? And it'll feed that circle and show me all the listings that that come inside of that circle. And now I can save this search and recall it very quickly, right? So it's just a very similar experience to Zillow for your consumer. You're going to see they actually look very the same as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. Any questions on this? Is just something there's drop downs here, but something to go play around on. Just go check out the different features. Now, one other one which is kind of cool. If I'm logged in as a consumer, I can actually put in some points of interest that are really important to me. So when you guys do a buyer consult, what are some of the things that you're hearing when someone says, I want to live near so-and-so or work, right? What are some of those points of interest that you hear?
How long does it take me to commute?
Okay, to work, right? So when you are actually logged in, the consumer has the ability to put in points of interest that are important to them. So let's say your consumer is going to be working at the Pentagon. They can put in that point of interest and it's showing them that this property is 12 minutes away from the Pentagon. And it'll hold and keep all of those different points of interest. So if we were to go back and we were to search for a property out in Fairfax, let's say, right? You don't have to retype it in ever again, right? You just type them in one time, or I might put in my sister's house or whatever it's going to be. Every property that this consumer looks at is going to give you a commute time to up to 3 points of interest. Right? And that's something that a lot of people really like because that's a main question. And Zillow, again, does not have a feature like that. So, right, this house in Fairfax is 26 minutes away from the Pentagon. So those are the little features that I think are a big deal. Okay. All right, so that's the website. All right, that's a general look at the website, getting it started and getting it launched. Now let's move over to the mobile app. All right, so to do that, I'm actually going to stop share and I'm going to share my phone. So give me just a second. I'm going to pull my phone up. While I do this, is anyone using the is anyone using the mobile app right now? Does anyone have it downloaded? Tell me about where you are with that.
I have it downloaded.
All right.
I used it a little bit, but I haven't used it lately.
What is the mobile app? Is that Zelle or not Zelle, but
Kelly?
Kelly? Yeah.
No, it's a good question. That's where we're going to start. All right, so
okay.
everyone can see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I put on Do Not Disturb real fast. Give me 1 second. Airplane mode. Okay. All right, so on my phone here, let it load up for just a second. Hold on, it's not showing on my screen. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, so if I back out here a little bit, right, a couple things. So Kelly is the green app there in the middle. That is the agent app. So that's what we use as Keller Williams agents, okay? The other one, the one next to it that says KW with the white background and the red KW app, that's the consumer app. That's the one we're talking about today. All right, Cynthia, so that answers your question. So
Yes,
we're
thank
not
you.
talking about Kelly, the other one. You'll have it, right? Go to the App Store. If you simply type in KW Realty, right, it's going to start to, it's going to pull up, right? So KW Realty, we'll see it right there. Buy or sell real estate. And you can, I would click open, right? If it was the first time you were downloading it, right, it would say download or whatever it's going to be, and I can go ahead and download that. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Now, when you open this app for the very first time, let me log out. Okay. Let me close it. I'm going to pull it back up again. All right. So when you log into this app for the very first time, this is the screen that you're probably going to see. says sign up or log in, and let's save your searches, start a collection, access insights from local experts everywhere. Now, I want you all to click sign up. You cannot log in unless you've created a consumer account. This is not your KW login information to log into Command. Right? It doesn't work on this app. This is a consumer app. What everyone needs to do is, I need you all to create an alter ego and create an account, right? So that you can play on your app as your alter ego. So mine is Kyle Gardner, right? That's the name of the client that I picked. I log in as that person so that I can go over to Command as an agent and look at that contact record, Kyle Gardner, and see all the information and learn how to use this, okay? So that the first time you log in, you're gonna click sign up and you're gonna create a new account. Okay, so for most of you, it's gonna be a brand new account. Now, I already have an account, right? Now, I want you guys to know, this login right here is the exact same as the website we just left. Right, so I have an ability now to sign in with one login as a consumer, either to my agent's app or onto my agent's website. Everybody get that?
Yes.
Think Netflix, right? You have one Netflix login, and I can pull up Netflix on my computer and log in, and I can pull up Netflix on my phone and log in. So the advantage is I can be on my phone saving properties and then get home and go to the agent site and log in and show my wife all the properties that I saved on my phone, right? It's the same login and they're constantly talking to each other. It's the exact same account, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click log in because I've already created an account, right? You guys saw me log in there before. So I'm gonna log in with that account. Okay, and I've now logged in, right? So now I'm logged into this mobile app, and down at more, right, in the bottom right-hand corner, so we've got a couple different tabs there across the bottom right-hand corner. If I click more, you're gonna see a name at the very top, right? Kyle Gardner. That's the name of the consumer. All right, are you with me? Now, below that, you see it says your agent, Kyle Holleran. So what I've done is I have branded this app to me, the agent. All right. If you don't see your name there in a blue bar, right? I think it says find an agent is what it says. And you can click that and you can say find an agent. I'll show you what that's gonna look like, right? You should go to come in and hit find an agent, and then you're able to type in your name. So I'm gonna type in Polly Jajak, right? And if I'm Polly, this is what I'm gonna do. Right? I'm gonna go in and make sure that I've created myself as the agent. So I find Polly Jajak. There's Polly's picture, right? All of her information, her biography. Where is all this information pulling from? Someone remind me.
Marketing profile.
That's from Kamal.
Yep, from the marketing profile. All right, so if you don't like that biography, that's all coming from that marketing profile. Now, if I wanted to, I can click get in touch, and it's gonna say this designates Polly as your agent. You wanna hit confirm. Now, if I'm Polly, I'm gonna click confirm and say yes. And now when Polly comes back out, right, to this main screen here, would then say Polly Jajak is your agent in the middle there in blue, okay? So here's the deal. I'm asking you all to do this one time. You need to go link your app to yourself. Once you do that though, moving forward, you can share this app right here. So if I scroll down, it says share the KW app, and I can text that to my client or whoever I'm sharing my app with. And when they download it, it's already gonna be branded to you. They don't need to go find you. Does that make sense? So if the app is branded to an agent, when it's shared, that person is automatically branded. They don't need to go search for the name. So you need to do this one time up front and then share it out, and you'll see that those people are automatically linked to you. Right? If you haven't done this before, what I did when this first launched, I shared it with my wife. I shared it with my brothers and my sister. And before I started sending it out to consumers, I let them play on it, give me some feedback, and was able to see how things came into me, the agent, so I didn't miss anything on my client. All right. On the mobile app here, guys, very similar. I've got my search app here. When I first come in, you're gonna see these are all these different neighborhoods, right? So if I want to, top right corner, I know it's tough to see, but underneath of my battery, a little arrow that I just clicked on and made it blue, that's your GPS. So they'll take you to your exact location. So here's how you can use that. Hey, Cynthia, my client just wanted to show you this mobile app. And what's really cool about this is this works anywhere in the country. So if you're down in Hilton Head and you're walking down the street and you see a for sale sign, you want to learn what the price of that property is, all you have to do is open the app, hit that little arrow at the very top, and it's going to take you exactly to where you are. And then you'll see all the properties right around you that are for sale.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's how you can use that little feature there. Right? Now, I'm in a map view, right? So that's why you're seeing these coming in here. There's your little green icons again for your open house. So same thing. Now, guys, this is the easiest script in the world. When I have an open house, right? I'm going to say, Cynthia, I see you're still on, so I'll use you if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia comes into my open house, and I say, hey, Cynthia, are you driving around today? Are you going to other open houses?
Yes.
Great. Well, so let me show you this really cool. On my mobile app, right? Let me show this to you real fast. Actually, these little green icons will show you all of the open houses today that are scheduled inside of our MLS, right?
Okay.
So if you thought this was helpful for you, what I could actually do is really quickly, I'm just going to go to more and let me share this with you. Cynthia, what's your phone number?
571.
You don't need to give it to me, but you guys just saw what I just did there.
Right.
What I just did there. So that's a very easy script
Okay.
to move
Okay.
somebody, to show them a tool of the app. And then when I open this up, I usually get someone's phone number. Now,
Okay.
they don't like to write it down on a piece of paper, but if I show them a feature of a mobile app, now all of a sudden I've got Cynthia's phone number, right? And I know it's her number because I can stand there and see if she just got a ding coming from me, right? Usually everyone's holding their phone in their hand. Okay, so that's a script that you could use in an open house to show one of the features of the mobile app and get someone's contact information, right? And really engage them at a high level. Okay, now remember, if I share it like that, Cynthia, when she downloads the app and she logs in, it's automatically going to say your agent, Kyle Hart.
Okay. Okay.
She doesn't need to go find me. Okay.
Quick question, Kyle.
Yes.
So how I'm gonna send to my client, the app, like what is the link where I can see that link?
Yeah. So a couple different ways. If I click share the KW app, this is the one. All right. So I can text this if I wanted to. Now that link you see right there, Vibs, mine says that KW2EN. We each have our own unique code. So you could copy that and email it to somebody, right?
Okay, perfect.
There's actually lots of different ways, and I'll show you in command when we go back over here in just a second how you can send it out, right?
Okay, got it. Thank
A
you.
couple other features here, guys. So I'm going to go back to the search tab. Some people ask me this. Up top, you see list up there, right? If you click the list view in the top left corner, it'll turn it into the list view. And now I can scroll for properties and I can see all of that, right? I can click on a property and same thing, it's going to open up all the details about that property. Someone can ask a question. If you click on the picture, it'll open up a gallery view, right? So you can actually see all the different photos. And if I turn my phone on landscape mode, it'll actually, I've got it paused right now, but I can turn it on landscape mode and turn it over and it'll make it full screen photos on my phone as well. All right, so the photos are really good on here. Go back. Same thing, there are some filters there. So you see where it says for sale and price. So this is where someone can say, hey, I'm looking for a home under 410,000, right? And hit done, and it'll go in and find those properties. So you have all your filters on there like anything else, right? And then there's more, all different types of filters. So they can go in and set up bedrooms, bathrooms, those types of things, right? All that stuff. Everybody good there?
Yes.
The other big one is in the middle, it says guide. Everybody see that? See where it says guide? This is a really cool feature that no one's using, and you guys should be. So over in command, right? You guys might remember I showed you something briefly that said guide builder. You guys have the ability to go in and create the step-by-step process of buying and selling for your clients, right? And they actually have one in here for you already that is already kind of set up. And see those blue check marks there? From command, you can actually check off where this consumer is in the process. So when they open it up, they could say, oh, okay, we're at touring homes. And you can actually edit all of this. They could click on tour homes and read all about what's important about touring properties, okay? Think about this. If it's time for a home inspection, you can edit this and you can tell your client, hey, if you go into the app and look at the guide, if you click on home inspection, you can edit all this text and you can put in links to your actual home inspectors, right? And tell them, hey, I have all of my inspectors listed in the mobile app. You can go there and pick one, let me know who you'd like to use, and we can move forward on it.
Where do you edit it?
I'll show you when we go back to
Oh,
in
okay.
a second. Yep. So buying, selling, right? Two different guides. You can change the photos, the headlines, the whole entire thing, and you can add steps. So you have a template you all can use, and you can go in and customize that a little bit further. All right. All right. Basics. Those are
So
the basics.
when you
of mobile app.
share, when you,
Go ahead.
Kyle, when you share, how do you get this information to your client?
So,
As
you know,
far, okay.
yeah, it's a couple things. I mean, you got to demonstrate this a little bit. Okay. Now, there is going to be a widget that's going to be coming out soon that'll actually walk your consumer through and show them all the features, which would be kind of cool, like a guided tour. What I do is I just engage them, right? And I show them a couple of these things. So, you know, show them the open houses, show them the guide really quickly. If I'm working with a buyer or seller, at my consultation, I'm actually going to have them create an account. Because you saw the lag there. If they just go and they just hit skip create an account, they can look around. I really want them to log in. Because once they log in and have a login, now I can see what they're doing. So, Cynthia, a little bit of demonstration, I think.
Okay.
And then also, it's been built like anything else, right? We go play with something. Hopefully, you start to learn what it is. So if someone spent 5 minutes on here, it's been designed that they should be able to kind of figure out how to get to where they're trying to go.
Okay.
All right. Let's
So
go back
Kyle, when
Yep, go ahead.
so I recently had to get a new phone.
Mhm.
So I had my KW app on here, but I wasn't signed in as anybody. It didn't say that.
Yep.
So I signed in as a new person.
Mhm.
But I'm not hooked to an agent
Okay.
on here.
So you need to go to more down here.
Uh-huh.
And under more, you're going to see it should say on there at the very top somewhere. It's going to say like find an agent. So you see your name at the very top.
I see list and it's showing properties around here. That's what I see.
All right. So bottom right corner. So you're in the wrong. You're in the
Oh,
wrong.
that
you're in
more.
Search. You're going to click more in the bottom
I
right.
see it. I
Okay.
see it. Thank
Good.
you.
That's where you're typing your name. Okay. Was there one other question there, Cynthia, or somebody else that was trying to jump in there? I cut off.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. So let's stop. I'm going to stop this share real fast.
Hey, Kyle, real quick.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Johnny.
whenever that your name is there, then your app is branded to you, so you're always good then, right? Regardless.
Yeah, correct. And again, you want to make sure you do that before you share it with somebody, because if you share an unbranded app, they've got to go find you. You don't want them to have to do that.
Mm.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, good question.
Hey,
All right, so
Cal, this is Yana. How
Hey,
are
Yana.
you?
Yeah, what's going on?
On the app, it looks like I have two pictures. My main picture is the one I want. It says your agent, but at the bottom it says KW and an old picture. How do I change that?
Let me share this back in real fast. See if that is. Are you talking about, so on the mobile app, are you talking about in your profile?
My profile is the correct picture that I want, but then I'm kind of playing around with it. And I think I went to like Keller Mortgage and like an old picture that I updated like a month ago. It's still there.
Okay, that's like a different portal. I think that's pulling from your MyKW white pages potentially. So if you go to mykw.kw.com, see a profile up there, that could be where it's pulling from. I'm not exactly sure. So we'll have to spend some time off to figure out where that picture's coming from.
Okay.
Okay. If you send me an email, Yana, just kylehollern@kw.com, I'll look at it for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, last two things I want to hit here. So I'm back in the consumer tab. You guys see my screen, right? Back in the consumer tab. Remember, this is where we did agent site pages a minute ago and we created the website. Right to the right of that, it says Guide Builder. So Cynthia, this was your question. So you're going to go to Guide Builder here. And this is where it shows you your buying guide and your selling guide. Now, I also want to point out real fast, when I'm logged into your website, you also can see the guide. So the guide is not on just the mobile app,
Okay.
but in order to see it on the website, you must be logged in. All right, so back to command, buyer guide, seller guide. If I wanted to edit the buying guide, I'd click this little pencil right here, right? And I can now, if I want to edit, get pre-approved, I can click on it. It pops out over here. I can change the picture, the card title, the subtitle, and then all the workspace details. So again, if I wanted to maybe come down and work on home inspection, I would click on it. Again, right here is where I can add in that information so that it shows up in the mobile app with my personal inspectors on it or wherever it's going to be. At the very bottom, you can click add a step, right? So if I wanted to add a new step, I could do that. and you'll talk about what the card title is and upload an image. It'll automatically be the last step. So then what you'll need to do is, again, you've got this little waffle over here. You'll then need to drag that step into the proper order for your guide, right? So it shows up to the consumer the proper way. All right. The other last thing on this is, and you all need to go do this actually, this is a bug, not a bug, it's a kind of a misfire. In the guides, there's a guide and there's also an introduction, right? In this introduction where it says Kyle will be providing insights on each step, this has someone else's name in it automatically. It says Paul, right? So you need to go edit that and put in your name, or your guide will say your name, but then in the body of the description, it'll say Paul will be providing insights on each step. So please make sure you go into this guide builder and not only edit the guide, but also go in and edit the introduction, right? And edit that little introduction paragraph. Okay. All right, so that's the guide. That's kind of the mobile, the mobile app portion there. And really the last thing I wanted to show you guys, the last thing was, if you wanted to, you could blast your entire command database with an email to download your mobile app. All right, so I showed you how you could share it with the consumer via text message. I do want to show you this. So what I would do, the suggestion I would make is you can create a smart plan. And there is, in here, you'll see in the library for command. I'm not going to really go deep into smart plans here, but in here you will see that there is a, right, one of the KW ones is a promote my mobile app smart plan. And so I could actually add this smart plan into my library and put all of my contacts on that smart plan, and they would get an email, right, telling them to download my mobile app. And we give them a link and it's nicely formatted. So what you should try to do is, at a minimum, go to smart plans, go to the library and add in this one here, right? So promote my app. And then add yourself on it, or again, your brothers and your sisters, or your mom and your dad, and let them go through it and give you some feedback. Give it a week. If everyone likes what they see and they were able to download the app from your email, then you can blast it out maybe to your entire database. Okay, so that's how you can get the word out, a couple different ways. All right, so that's website, mobile app. I know that was a ton of information. What I'm going to do is I will upload this video to my YouTube channel, right, a little bit later today, and you guys can fast forward that YouTube video and catch back up on a part if you missed something. And again, then reach out with me if you have any sort of questions. So anything final, anything last minute? I do have a 12 o'clock, so I can't spend a lot of time, but was there any major questions I can answer for you guys before we go?
Just real quick, Kyle, on that timeline guide, when you looked at the introduction,
yes.
So is it normal? Mine has a picture and then another square, another circle with my initials. Is that?
Yeah, that's just like a template. It doesn't actually show that way, so don't worry about that. You're asking about this right here.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's just like a bug on the way that we see it. It doesn't show that way out to the consumer.
Thanks.
No problem. All right, helpful? You guys learned something?
Yep, thanks, Kyle.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Good. All right, guys, everyone have a great day. If you need anything, email me, right? It's my full name, kyleholleran@kw.com. And I can certainly jump on and help you out, and we'll make sure everything's working the way you need it to work.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.